Hello, everybody, and welcome to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan softball, a little Wednesday afternoon style. The sun is shining through the clouds right now in Ann Arbor at Alumni Field as the Wolverines return home to take on the visiting Michigan State Spartans in an in-state rivalry clash. It was raining all afternoon and all day, but the clouds have subsided for now, and the tarp is off the field after a brief half-hour or so delay. We're ready to get going here for Michigan and Michigan State. Wolverines entered this game just 1-4 in Big Ten play. They started 0-4 in conference for the first time since 1991, but they picked up a much-needed victory Sunday to salvage the series in Evanston against Northwestern, and now return home looking to get some momentum together. I'm Jared Greenspan alongside Zach Corsun here for WCBN Sports. And Zach, it's been a rough start so far to Big Ten play for Michigan. What do the Wolverines need to do from here to right the ship?
Well, in this game especially, Jared, the offense has to back the pitching. Alex Starraco has been a stud her entire career with Michigan. She's kept it going this year with a 1.57 ERA. But this is going to be a tough matchup for the Michigan offense as they face Michigan State ace Ashley Miller, who herself has a 0.82 ERA. And she has 20 starts this season, 15 of which have been a complete game.
Miller is certainly going to be a tough matchup for the Wolverines, who will have their work cut out for them today against Michigan State. But Michigan counters with Alex Starraco, who was roughed up uncharacteristically over the weekend in Evanston. On Friday, she was brilliant, but took the hard luck loss in extra innings. And then on Saturday and Sunday, after the Saturday game was suspended due to weather, she gave up a pair of home runs in the sixth inning. That made it 5 home runs on the weekend allowed by Starraco, which was uncharacteristic for sure. So she'll try to right the ship today. She has a 1.57 ERA on the season. Has been dominant, per usual, from the circle. Michigan starters getting introduced just now. We'll run you through the lineup quick. Burkhardt leads off. Then Ellie Sealer, Hannah Carson in the 3-hole. Melina Livingston bats cleanup. Taylor Bump 5th, followed by Lauren Esmond, Audrey Leclaire, Sierra Kirsten as the designated player, and Ella Mcveigh rounding things up from the 9-hole. For Michigan State, it's Jessica Mabry leading off. Courtney Callahan batting second. Batting third at first base is Cameron Wincher, followed by Alexis Barroso in the 4-hole. Katie Ladd follows her, Kaylee Roper behind her, Zaquai Dumas, Kendall Cates, and Marissa Trivalpiece. The weather's really taking a turn for the better here in Ann Arbor. We've got some sun shining at us right now through the windows here in the press box.
It has. I don't think we're going to get any more rain the rest of the day after the past 5 or so hours. Been filled with rain. They had the tarp on the field, took that off pregame, and now we're set to go. It's 6:31. They say first pitch is at 6:32.
Cutting it close. Let's see. Last player being introduced right now for Michigan.
And Audrey Leclaire is out there with a handshake for every single player, greeting them on the field.
Have to love the pregame rituals. One of the best parts about the complex here, the Wilpon Baseball Complex, is you have Alumni Field, and if you're sitting in the press box or watching the game from behind home plate, you can see the baseball field, Ray Fisher Stadium, across the way. And every now and then, the games happen at the same time, and thanks to the baseball game pushing the start back from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., and then the softball game getting delayed from 6 p.m. to 6:30. That's what we have going on right now. If you're looking for Michigan baseball, they're over on WCBN2. They just scored a run as well. So don't switch away from us, but maybe if you can have 2 tablets going at once with both games, train your ears.
Or during half innings.
There we go. So it's 6:32. Alex Starraco warming up on the mound. We are just about ready to go from Ann Arbor.
So when looking at Alex Starraco, you see obviously she has a 1.57 ERA, but what stands out to me about the Big Ten Pitcher of the Year from last year was that last year she had a 1.05 ERA, and she had 12.9 strikeouts per 7 innings. But this year, that ERA has jumped 0.5, and her strikeouts per 7 innings has dropped by 1.5. So a little regression, but still one of the best pitchers in the country in the Big Ten and Michigan's ace.
And Michigan will need a stellar performance from her tonight, going up against Ashley Miller, the ace from the Spartans. So it's ace against ace, Michigan against Michigan State, in-state rival against in-state rival. And we are about ready to go. Jessica Mabry, the senior center fielder, right-handed hitter, steps in and takes a good hack at a first pitch fastball and fouls it straight back to the screen. 0-1.
Jessica Mabry is the ideal leadoff hitter. She has a .450 on-base percentage leading Michigan State, and she's behind the count 0-1 here.
Second pitch from Starraco comes in a bit low, 1-1. Mabry hitting .287 on the season, .450 on base percentage, and slugging .446.
You expect her to work the count here. She leads the team in walks with 24 on the season.
1-1 taken high. Did she check her swing? No, says the first base umpire Martin Abestein. Or yes, did he say?
No, I believe the scoreboard is incorrect.
Is
2 balls,
it's
1 strike.
Just double checking myself.
You're right. Trust your gut.
2-1 the count to Mabry, and she swings and misses at that one. Starraco took something off of it, and it's 2-2. Mabry steps out of the box. She struck out just 13 times in the season in 101 at-bats. Starraco, meanwhile, has struck out a whopping 175 batters across 107 innings. And that one's high, 3-2, so Mabry, as Zach alluded to, has worked the count full to lead off this game. No score in Ann Arbor after a bit of a delayed start due to weather. Playing under sun-soaked skies. 3-2 the count to Mabry. Starraco deals, and it skips in there. Ball 4 bounces to the plate, and Jessica Mabry pads that .450 on base percentage and works a leadoff walk.
Starraco with an uncharacteristic walk to start the game there. She only averages about 2 per 7 innings. And there's the first, and the first batter possible.
And Mabry, to the contrary, has now drawn 25 walks on the season. That leads all Spartans. Here comes the left-handed hitter. Courtney Calhoun drops down a bunt. Charging at first is Esmond. Fires to Livingston, who covers for the out at first. Advancing over to second is Mabry. So Callahan gets the sacrifice down, and the Spartans have a runner in scoring position with one away for their 3-hitter, Cameron Wincher.
And Mabry was going on the pitch. She's not too much of a threat on the bases, although she is third actually on the team in stolen bases, but only 5 attempts on the season.
And now Michigan State has itself set up where it wants. First pitch from Starraco to Wincher is cut on and miss. Wincher hitting .360. Alexis Barroso behind her batting .361. So it's a dynamic 3-4 punch in the lineup for Michigan State with a chance to play to run and give the Spartans an early lead. 1 out in the top of the first. Leading off of second is Jessica Mabry. The 0-1 from Starraco rises high. 1-1.
Batters 1 through 4 in this Michigan State lineup all have an on-base percentage above .400. So getting through them is really the challenge for Starraco today.
Starraco looks in towards Carson, winds and fires, and that catches the corner for a strike. 1-2. A clean start is imperative for Starraco, especially considering her weekend in Evanston. She didn't pitch in the finale on Sunday, but she pitched in the Saturday game that turned into a Sunday game with the weather-induced suspension and was roughed up 6 hits and 5 runs. As Wincher taps that one back to the pitcher, Starraco out of the circle to get it. Throws on to first to Esmond for the second out. Advancing to third is Wincher. So 2 outs, a runner at third, and Alexis Barroso coming to the plate. And Starraco has a chance to get out of this inning unscathed after allowing the leadoff walk.
The exit velocity between the last 2 times that the ball has hit the bat has been probably a combined 20 miles per hour. That was off the end of the bat right back to Starraco after the bunt to Starraco.
No hard contact here. First pitch swinging and missing is Barroso. Took a big healthy cut at a rise ball upstairs, and it's 0-1. Barroso hitting .361, just outdoing her teammate Wincher at .360. Starraco's already dispatched one of the 1-2 duo. Can she get the other? That one rises high. It's 1-1. Standing at third is Mabry. No score in the top of the first. Michigan and Michigan State here at Alumni Field. A very good crowd on hand for the rivalry matchup between the two in-state foes. 1-1 on the way from Starraco. Swung on and missed, and it's 1-2. Big, healthy catch by Barroso, but you just can't catch up with it. And Starraco is one strike away from a scoreless first. Mabry, the runner, at third. 1-2 from Starraco, fouled back to the screen. And so Barroso stays alive. We'll do that again. Fifth pitch of the at-bat upcoming between Starraco and Barroso.
Starraco averages over a strikeout per inning, so that would help her average right here. And she has yet to record a strikeout with the two dribblers back to her and the first hitter walking.
1-2 on the way, fouled straight back and up and out of the stadium, a souvenir. And so Alexis Barroso doing a nice job staying alive. Pitch number 6 of the at-bat upcoming. Making Starraco work early here in the first. Mabry carries what would be the first run of the game at third. 1-2 from Starraco. Dribbled foul. Carson scampers away to grab it, making sure it stays in foul territory. And Barroso, since falling behind in the count 1-2, has fouled off 3 consecutive pitches.
And Melina Livingston, the second baseman, seeing the sun out there, requesting sunglasses. So that just goes to show the sun is peeking out. No more rain today for us.
1-2 from Starraco. Swing and a miss. She struck her out. Alex Starraco works the scoreless first, working her way around the leadoff walk. And we're heading to the bottom of the first. No score. Michigan and Michigan State. Starraco walked Mabry, or worked a hard-fought walk. And then 2 dribblers and the strikeout. Barroso was pesky, but not pesky enough to reach base, and Starraco put her away.
Way to bounce back by Starraco. Really composing herself and not giving up to these Michigan State hitters. With that runner on first base to start the game, you can really unravel, especially with the 2, 3, 4 hitters in this Michigan State lineup. But now in the second inning, Michigan State has their 5, 6, and 7 hitters with a drop-off, as I mentioned earlier, after that 4-hitter in Alexis Barroso.
We'll see what Michigan has to offer here in the bottom of the first. Wolverines will come to bat. Christina Burkhardt leading off, Ellie Sealer behind her, and Hannah Carson in the 3-hole if anyone is to reach base. Melina Livingston batting 4th. And they'll take on the ace from Michigan State, Ashley Miller. Has been stellar so far this season, pitching to a sparkling 0.82 ERA in 20 appearances, 119 and a third innings pitched, 167 strikeouts. So just as Michigan State has its work cut out for it against Starraco, same goes for Michigan. And we'll see if Burkhardt can set the tone early for the Wolverines.
And as you say, Michigan has their work cut out for them with Ashley Miller on the mound. Ashley Miller has her work cut out for herself with this Michigan lineup, headed by Christina Burkhardt, with a .459 on-base percentage, just like Jessica Mabry had for Michigan State. And Burkhardt is a grad student from Fort Wayne, Indiana. She actually transferred from North Carolina, a graduate transfer, and she's really been an amazing add for this Michigan team, hitting north of 400 on the year.
A cool .423. She's been bumped to the top of the lineup in Lexi Blair's absence. Blair remains out of the Michigan lineup after suffering an injury over the weekend. She was seen just a few moments ago on crutches and with the knee brace. As the first pitch skips into the dish as Burkhardt takes ball 1. So Burkhardt at the top of the lineup in the meantime with Blair's sideline, and she's been doing a fantastic job this season, as Zach alluded to. Went 4 for 11 with a double in the series over the weekend. Batting .423 on the year, leads the team in a number of categories. Takes that one low, 2-0. She's got 16 doubles, 20 RBIs, and 9 stolen bases, all of which lead the Wolverines.
Can't forget about 3 triples.
Another
triples.
One that leads the Wolverines.
Only one other player on the Wolverines has a triple, and that is Audrey Leclaire.
2-0, the count to Burkhardt, has herself in a hitter's count early. Watches that one go by for a strike, 2-1. So Miller finds the zone for the first time today.
As we were saying, with those 3 triples, 16 doubles, 19 of her 44 hits are for extra bases.
2-1 on the way from Miller to Burkhardt. And Miller took something off of that one, and it clips the outside corner, 2-2. Saw it buckle Burkhardt's knees a little bit. And so Miller has worked her way from 2-0 to 2-2. Burkhardt leading off the bottom of the first for the Wolverines in what is a scoreless game thus far. 2-2 coming. That's low. Ball 3. And Burkhardt scampered off for first base, and I think they're going to call her back. She thought she had ball 4. Not so fast for Christina Burkhardt. She's heading right back. Flipped her bat away and everything. We were a little confused.
Yeah.
I think everyone in the press box was a little confused. Everyone but the umpire called her right back. And so let's see if Burkhardt can actually work her way to first. And now Michigan State is having a conversation, wondering what happened here. Jackie Joseph talking with home plate umpire Liz Hammerschmidt right in front of Carol Hutchins on the third base side in front of the Spartan dugout.
Looks as though she's complaining that a Michigan batter cannot run out of the batter's box. But it's a real technicality there to complain about.
And I think her point has been rendered moot. Trudges back to the dugout, so Burkhardt will try to actually earn her way to first base this go-around. The left-handed batter steps in. Back in the circle is Ashley Miller. 3-2 is the count leading off the bottom of the first. Burkhardt waits for the pitch from Miller. Into the windup, here it comes, and she fouls it straight back. And so we'll have a 7th pitch of the at-bat. Burkhardt has worked 6 walks this year. She struck out 11 times. Thought she had walk number 7. But turns out it was only ball 3. Nonetheless, making Miller work here in the bottom of the first. 3-2 coming from Miller. The payoff pitch. Burkhardt laces it to right, and it's caught. A diving catch by Ladd. She dove to her right, outstretched her frame, and snagged it. That ball looked like it was ticketed for right center, and Burkhardt is robbed of a base hit.
Wow, Burkhardt put a drive into that one, potentially looking for extra base hit number 20 and double number 17 as that was headed for the right center gap, as you said. But what a play by Katie Ladd on Michigan State. And Michigan with 1 out now in the inning.
Just a rifle off the bat of Burkhardt, but it found a glove. And now that'll bring up Ellie Sealer, who takes a pitch that just misses for ball 1. So Miller gets bailed out by her defense there after allowing a rocket off the bat of Burkhardt, who trots to the bench with a tough luck out. 1-0 the count to Sealer. And comes up empty on that rip. Pitch below the knees. Sealer chased it, and it's 1-1. It was Katie Ladd who made that tremendous diving play at second base. The senior second baseman. A key cog on this team and proving her worth there. 1-1 the count to Sealer. And comes up empty that one, a bit on the half-hearted swing there. And Miller using that blazing fastball to get ahead, 1-2. Sealer, a recent addition to the starting lineup of late, in part impacted by Blair's injury. She's seeing more playing time. Went 3 for 9 over the weekend against the Wildcats in Evanston. Behind in the count 1-2, and she stays alive, fouling that straight back to the screen.
It's going to be a common theme today with these pitchers being ahead in the count.
Sealer drawing the start in left field today amidst Blair's continued absence. She's hitting .216 on the season. In a 1-2 hole here against Miller. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. She struck her out. Foul chip into the mitt. And Kate's able to hold on behind the plate. Out number 2. So Miller looks to be on her A game early. And that'll bring up Hannah Carson, the catcher and 3-hitter in this Wolverines lineup. The senior behind the dish, hitting .282 on the year. She's got 3 home runs and 25 RBIs, the latter of which lead the team. Left-handed hitter against the right-handed Miller. Miller in the circle into the windup and deals. Off-speed pitch in for a strike. 0-1.
She's been attacking each of the batters early on in the count with a strike there. Carson not looking for an off-speed pitch as the past few hitters have all gotten a fastball on the first pitch.
Miller ahead of Carson, 0-1. Delivers, that's low and outside, dipping away, 1-1. Good eye from Carson to lay off that one. Hannah Carson struggled over the weekend in Northwestern, just 1 of 11. Her bat fell completely silent. Wolverines will need her to rebound as they look to right the ship in Big Ten play. Started off 0-4, got that win Sunday. Looking to get win number 2 here today. That off-speed pitch sits high, 2-1.
Hannah Carson has really had the power going her way this season. She's tied for second on the team in home runs with 3 in her 78 plate appearances. She only had 2 last season in 2 times the amount of plate appearances.
Slugging .462 on the season. Here comes the 2-1. That's a little high upstairs. 3-1. So Carson in the driver's seat. Miller's falling behind. And Miller knows she has to be careful with Carson. We just rattled off those power numbers. Carson can get a hold of one. 3-1, 2 away here in the bottom of the first. No score, Michigan and Michigan State. Nobody on for Hannah Carson, the number 3 hitter. Here's the 3-1, and that's high ball 4. Carson works a walk, and Michigan has a 2-out base runner with Melina Livingston coming to the plate.
It looks as though Ashley Miller is mirroring Alex Starraco's first inning with a strikeout. Now she's got a walk. And up to the plate, as you said, for Michigan is Melina Livingston.
Livingston hitting .385 on the season. Another one of those transfers. She's a graduate transfer from Penn State. As she takes a strike in the inside corner, her and Burkhardt, 2 impact transfers for the Wolverines. Carson, the runner at first. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Alex Starraco worked around the leadoff walk for a scoreless first inning. Ashley Miller trying to match her. That just misses on the inside half of the plate, and it's 1-1.
As you said, Livingston hitting .385 was Penn State's leading hitter last season. So she's kept on that hot hitting streak of hers as she led Penn State each of her 3 seasons there.
1-1 the count to Livingston. Miller deals. And that catches part of the plate. 1-2. Carson, not much of a threat to run at first. Hasn't attempted a stolen base this season. Livingston in a 1-2-0. Doesn't strike out too often. Only 5 strikeouts on the season. Of all 9 Wolverines in the starting lineup, that's the fewest. Here's the 1-2. Just misses. Good eye from Livingston to lay off. And the count even at 2-2. Livingston steps outside the box. Rubbing the dirt with her cleat, now gets back in it, swinging the bat on her shoulders. 2-2, the count even, 2 outs, 1 on, bottom of the first. Michigan State, Miller deals, and Livingston flies it down the first base side, out of play. Hits the roof above us and thuds onto the parking lot. 2-2, 6th pitch of the at-bat upcoming from Miller to Livingston. Carson, the runner at first. 2 outs. No score. Bottom of the first. Michigan State. The pitch from Miller skips into the plate. Carson thought about scampering to second, but thought better of it and winds up back at first. And now the count is full. So Miller has pitched to 3 3-ball counts in the first 4 batters that she's faced, including 2 full counts.
Michigan really making her work. That's going to be a key here, especially trying to get on base.
The 3-2 is low, ball 4. It skips into the dish again, and Ashley Miller has walked back-to-back Wolverines. Carson moves to second, Livingston on to first, and Michigan has something brewing here, a bit of a 2-out rally. 2 out, 2 on. Taylor Bump, the number 5 hitter, striding to the plate.
Taylor Bump was one of the leading hitters on this Michigan team last year, although she's off to a little bit of a rough start this season, only hitting .206 on the year with 1 home run. Last year, she hit 12, so a lot of power in that bat with these runners on base.
First pitch to Bump, skips in low, runners take off, and they're going to make it. Carson over to third, over to second is Livingston, and Miller keeps on skipping these pitches to the plate. And her catcher, Kendall Cates, is going to go out and have a meeting at the mound alongside the pitching coach. And runners now, 2 runners in scoring position for Taylor Bump. And as you mentioned, Bump has struggled this season, hitting just .206. But what can only be described as an encouraging weekend in Northwestern. She went 2 for 5 with a double, and after she hit .325 last season, Michigan really needs Taylor Bump to rediscover the 2021 version of herself here as 2022 plays out.
And the analytics community looks at on-base percentage more than batting average. And if you look at Taylor Bump's on-base percentage, it is very respectable at .365, due in part to her 16 walks on the year, more than 2 times more than the next highest, which is Lauren Essman with 7.
And to the contrary, the .309 slugging percentage is not what you would expect from someone of Taylor Bump's caliber. 1-0 the count. Runners on second and third with 2 outs. Here's the pitch to Bump. Comes in low. 2-0. Didn't skip in, but below the knees. And it's 2-0 to Taylor Bump. Carson, the runner at third. Livingston, the runner at second. Ashley Miller has worked herself into a bit of a pickle. Can she work her way out of it? Starraco got out of a similar jam in the first. 2-0 from Miller. Bump rips it into right center for a base hit. Carson is in. On her way to score is Livingston. Bump rounding first. She's into second with a stand-up line drive double. Taylor Bump rips one into right center and puts Michigan on the board first. It's 2-0.
Katie Ladd, the second baseman for Michigan State, bailed out Ashley Miller off the bat of Christina Burkhardt with the first batter of the game when she dove and caught the line drive, but she could not get that one there off the bat of Taylor Bump, as that drove in two, and as the one off the bat of Burkhardt would have gone to the wall, that one did, and so it allowed Bump to go to second base.
A near mirror image from Burkhardt's plate appearance, but Bump able to sneak this one by the outstretched glove of Katie Ladd. Gets it done, and Michigan 2 out and nobody on. How about 2 runs? And the inning's still ongoing as Lauren Essman, the left-handed hitter, steps to the dish. Bump now on second. First pitch to Esmond comes in for a strike, so Ashley Miller has been kicked back on her heels, finds the strike zone. Bump the runner at second, a big hit for Taylor Bump, 2-run double, and the Wolverines strike first in the bottom of the first in this in-state rivalry, Wednesday night edition between Michigan and Michigan State. The 0-1 to Esmond rides high, 1-1. Esmond hitting .306 on the year, but went just 2 for 11 over the weekend. A lot of Michigan bats struggled, as did Michigan arms. It was a tough weekend for the Wolverines. Went just 1-2 in Northwestern. 2 late blown leads. 1-1 to Esmond. That comes in for a strike, and it's 1-2.
Big lead off second base for Taylor Bump. And on contact, she'll be on the move, and she's in a good secondary lead, so if it gets beyond the infield, I expect her to score with ease.
Miller looking to at last retire the side. She got 2 quick outs and has labored ever since. The 1-2 swing and a miss has been down on strikes, and so Ashley Miller at last retires the side, but not before Michigan strikes. 2 2-out walks prove deadly as Taylor Bump rips a 2-run double in a right center, and the Wolverines are up 2-0 at the end of 1 here from Alumni Field, Michigan and Michigan State. The clouds are gone, the sun is out, the rain is gone, and the Wolverines are up on the scoreboard 2-0. Alex Starraco back to the circle for her second inning of work, and I'm going to hand over the play-by-play duties to Zach.
Thank you, Jared. Wonderful job in that first inning. You got some excitement there in the bottom half of the first inning for Michigan.
If only we had like a baton.
Proverbial baton.
Yeah.
Water bottle. So, Starraco taking the mound, top half of the second inning. And as I said earlier in the first inning, there's a big drop-off in that Michigan State lineup. It's going to be Katie Ladd, Kaylee Roper, and Zaquai Dumas up for Michigan State.
And we'll see what Alex Starraco has to offer in the second inning. It was a strong first inning for Starraco. Worked around the leadoff walk, induced 2 dribblers, and got the strikeout to retire Mabry and strand her at third.
Katie Ladd up for Michigan State, as I said. She's a fifth-year student from Los Alamitos, California. Last year, she was one of only 2 players to start all 40 games for Michigan State, and she had a team-high 8 doubles, leading the team in runs, hits, and plate appearances. This year, she is second in runs and hitting .277 on the season. So very respectable, but not on the same level as those 1 through 4 hitters on Michigan State that we saw in that first inning.
We saw Katie Ladd flash the leather, robbing Burkhardt of a base hit. Couldn't quite get to Bumps, but 2 rockets. Was able to stop one of them. See if she could now flash her prowess at the dish.
And the first pitch from Starraco is in there for a strike. No balls, 1 strike count on Katie Ladd. As you said, Ladd was able to get that first one off the bat of Burkhardt, unable to get the second one. So let's see if she can make up for that on the offensive side. And Starraco deals, and that off-speed pitch is high, bringing the count to 1 ball and 1 strike. Starraco let up a walk to the first batter in the first inning, but worked around the trouble. And Ladd is the first batter in the second. That's a dribbler. Goes foul. Looked like it could have even potentially curved back fair. But
you never know with those cue shots off the end of that bat, the spin on those, if they're going to come back into play.
Essman wasn't wanting to see or take your chances on that one, and so she gobbled up foul. So count is now 1 ball, 2 strikes, and that's strike 3. Second strikeout of the day, first of the inning for Alex Starraco.
And that is Alex Starraco at her best, just overpowering the opposition. I found a quote that Carol Hutchins said over the weekend to be interesting. She said, Starraco is one of the best pitchers I've ever coached. She just needs to believe it. That kind of stood out to me, and amidst Starraco's struggles, which are uncharacteristic for her, she gave 5 home runs. I was interested to see how she would perform today.
Kaylee Roper at the dish, and she takes ball 1 inside from Starraco. Kaylee Roper is a freshman from Venice, Florida. And she fouls that one back. 1 ball, 1 strike, the count off the netting. She's hitting .211 this season, and she has the designation of leading the team in strikeouts with 22 at the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike, the count. Starraco at the rubber. And here's the windup. Fouled off once again, off the net. 1 ball, 2 strikes, the count, 1 out. Starraco dealing early in the second inning. She's attacked the first hitter and the second hitter now. Been ahead the count both times. Kaylee Ladd struck out on 1-2 count. And here's the 1-2 pitch, and that is up to Kaylee Roper.
Starraco took something off that pitch there. He didn't quite get it down in the zone enough, trying to fool Roper. See if she goes back to the fastball here. 2
balls, 2 strikes to count, 1 out. Starraco's offering is in there for strike 3. Swing and miss. Roper set down. Two outs now in the inning, both by strikeout.
And we mentioned the disparity between the top of Michigan State's order and the bottom. The top significantly stronger. It's not a well-rounded lineup, and Alex Starraco has gotten to the mid and the bottom of that and is tearing through it.
First pitch there to Dumas is in there for a strike. No balls, 1 strike to count to Zaquai Dumas, hitting .204 on the season. Dumas hits that one to left field. It's going, and it is gone over the left field wall. Watch it go, Sealer, as she tries to catch that one, running into the wall, and Michigan State is now on the board as they trail this one 2-1.
Well, that ball just kept carrying, and Dumas got a hold of it, traveled well. She has power. She's only hitting .204 on the year, but now has 6 home runs to her ledger. And Sealer was going back, thought she had a play on it, and that ball just kept drifting her back and back, and it cleared that 200-foot mark in left field.
As you were saying, Starraco with the home run issues over the weekend, plaguing her early on here in this Michigan State matchup.
She's now given up 11 on the season, and 6 of those have come in her past 3 appearances.
Kendall Cates at the dish now. She looks at strike 1. No balls, 1 strike to count. Pitch from Starraco is high. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. Kendall Cates is a catcher, a senior from San Diego, California. Fouls the ball back against the netting. 1 ball, 2 strikes with 2 outs.
Too much basketball.
Basketball season is now over, Jared, so
we're moving on.
I got to move on, exactly. Baseball and softball season.
1 pitch at a time.
1 ball, 2 strikes to count, and that one's looped into left field, and that's going to be in there for a single.
a good piece of hitting from Kendall Cates. Just kind of reached out her bat and flicked it into left field, right into no man's land. Too shallow for Sealer, too deep for Mcveigh. And Spartans putting together some good plate appearances against Starraco.
They heard us talking about that bottom half of the lineup, and they wanted to prove us wrong, Jared.
Okay, well, Michigan fans, some apologies.
And we have a substitution. Mackenzie Meach stepping to the plate in place of Marissa Trivalpiece. Trivalpiece, the starting right fielder, was slotted in that 9 spot, but instead it's going to be Mackenzie Meach stepping to the plate. And Meach fouls off the pitch against the netting. No balls, 1 strike. She's a senior from Riverside, California. Again, at first base is Kendall Cates. No balls, 1 strike to count. Here's the pitch. That is in there for a strike. No balls, 2 strikes to count with 2 outs. Starraco trying to get out of this one so that she doesn't have to face that top half of the order with runners on base. 1 ball, 1 strike to count, 2 outs. Here's the pitch. And that fooled Meach. And that was strike 3, actually. The scoreboard lagged on that one and fooled me.
Well, Starraco had just had enough of giving up hits. Just went right after Meach, retired her easily. But the damage was done. Dumas with a big home run to left. Cates got on board as well, with Starraco able to preserve the lead for now. It's 2-1 Wolverines as we head to the bottom of the second.
As you said, Dumas got the damage done. So 1 run that inning for Michigan State on 1 hit and 1 runner left on, or 2 hits and 1 runner left on base, as Kendall Cates just dumped that, or looped the single into left field. So Michigan and Michigan State now each with 1 runner left on base when on offense. And Michigan State now on the mound is Ashley Miller, and she's looking to rebound from that rough first inning. The uncharacteristically rough first inning, I should say.
Yeah, rocky first inning for Miller. Those 2 two-out walks came back to bite her. The big hit from Taylor Bump, the 2-run double. That accounts for the only scoring for the Wolverines this far in their lone frame at bat. See if they can pad the lead a little bit here as we head to the bottom of the second.
And it's going to be 7, 8, 9 due up for Michigan. Audrey Leclaire, Sierra Kirsten, and Ella Mcveigh. Audrey Leclaire leading us off in the bottom half of the second inning. She's a .283 hitter, but she has led off 5 times this season and is 3 for 5 in those instances, so she is hitting .600 as the leadoff hitter. So a good spot for Michigan here. Small sample size, very small sample size. But she gets the job done for Michigan, and they're looking to start off the second inning just as they did the first with a runner on base. Or, excuse me, Christina Burkhardt did not start the first inning on base, but Ellie Sealer did. So Michigan trying to turn it around. And here's the first pitch from Miller. That is low for a ball. That's what we saw a lot in that first inning. We saw low pitches from Miller bouncing before the plate, on the plate, and just low pitches in general. That one reached the glove of the catcher, Cates, but was low. So 1 ball, no strikes to count. That one's low again, but swung out by Leclaire. 1 ball, 1 strike to count, no outs. She's squaring around to bunt, but I believe she's going to pull it back. Here's the pitch from Miller, and that is dribbled foul by the Michigan State dugout. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count. Nobody out with Leclaire leading this one off.
Leclaire hitting .283 on the season. She's played in 25 games and drawn 18 starts, assuming a more regular role in the lineup after playing sparingly throughout her first 2 seasons in Ann Arbor.
Here's the 1-2 offering from Miller. That is low and outside for a ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
We'll see if Miller can avoid losing Leclaire. She fell behind Carson in the first, walked her, and then walked Livingston as well, losing her to bases on balls.
Again, it's Leclaire squaring around. She's going to pull it back and then do a little running swing, although she holds back on the swing, and it is 3 balls and 2 strikes the count. We saw a lot of 3-ball counts in that first inning, and the first opportunity to get one here in the second does so. So 3 balls, 2 strikes the count for Leclaire.
4 and 7 batters, that is 3-ball counts that Miller has gone to.
Michigan making Miller work, and that one is to the third baseman, and it is Leclaire is out at first base. It was a bang-bang play, and the first baseman, Wincher, was able to hold on to it. Although Leclaire is going back to first base. A little confusion here, as you can hear it in my voice.
Well, it was dribbled right along the third base line, and Callahan at third was playing in. I thought it was foul, but she appears to have snared it in fair territory.
And Leclaire is heading back to the bench, or to the dugout, excuse me. But she's not even sure what she's supposed to be doing. She's going back to the dugout. So it is officially an out in the scorebook, with Sierra Corsun stepping to the plate.
Very confusing sequence there on a number of different levels, but glad we have it all sorted out. It'll go down as your routine 5-3 in the books.
Corsun at the plate, getting ready for the first pitch from Miller. Here it comes. It is low and outside. 1 ball and no strikes the count.
Kirsten, one of the Wolverines' best power hitters. She has 5 home runs on the season.
1 ball and no strikes, 1 out. Here's the pitch from Miller. Off-speed pitch and in there for a strike, evening up the count at 1 ball and 1 strike.
See if Miller's able to settle in now and avoid those 3-ball counts. 4 and 7 batters is not sustainable as this game moves on. She's already thrown a lot of pitches and been tagged for 2 runs.
Corsun looks at that one. It's low. 2 balls, 1 strike the count. Sierra Corsun leads Michigan in strikeouts with 26 on the year, although she is also second in runs scored. The sophomore from Clarkston, Michigan's hitting .302 on the season. And here's the 4th pitch of the at-bat is in there for a strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count, once again evening it up.
Kirsten snapped her head up. Not sure if she was a fan of that call from Liz Hammerschmidt behind the dish.
Here's Miller. And she deals. And that is in there for strike 3, adding to that strikeout total on the day and the total for Sierra Corsun.
Not sure what Kirsten was looking for. She knew it as soon as the pitch came in and headed right back toward the dugout. Miller caught her frozen at the plate.
It's the 3rd of the day for Miller. And stepping up to the plate now for Michigan is Ella Mcveigh. Mcveigh, the 9-hitter in this Michigan order, looking to get on base so they can flip it around and get the 1-hitter up. And she runs up to the front of the box and looks at that one go for a strike. No balls, 1 strike the count. Mcveigh ready for the pitch, and here it comes. And she looks to slap one over to the other side, but swing and a miss. No balls, 2 strikes the count.
Miller sent that one tailing away from her, which is tough to hit if you're Mcveigh running towards the pitch.
And Mcveigh now squaring around to bunt, but she's going to pull it back with 2 strikes, no balls. And she does so, but lets that one go by, and that's a ball, so she lives to see another pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count with 2 outs.
Cates held it there for an extra second, trying to milk a call out of Hammerschmidt. Didn't get it, though.
Mcveigh trying to rattle Miller by squaring that bat, but she pulls it back, and that one is in the dirt. So 2 balls, 2 strikes. Both balls in this count have come with Mcveigh squaring around to bunt while Miller is in her windup. Miller toes the rubber. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs, trying to get out of this one without facing the top of Michigan's order. Here's the pitch, and that one's low. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs.
And here we go again with Miller just sort of losing control of the at-bat. She had Mcveigh behind in the count, and Mcveigh has worked her way out of the hole to make it 3-2, and now Miller on the verge of another 2-out walk. She already has allowed 2 2-out walks in this ballgame.
And they really came back to bite her in that first inning. With nobody on and 2 outs, then those 2 walks, and then the runners advanced to second and third on a wild pitch, and then they ended up scoring on the double off the bat of Taylor Bump. Here's the 3-2 pitch, and that one slapped to the other side, but that is foul on the third baseline. It was Alexis Barroso fielding that one, probably a good 10, 15 feet in from third base.
A little less ambiguity on that one with Barroso than the other one that Leclaire tapped a few at-bats ago. That one clearly in foul territory.
And we'll do it again with the count being full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Pitch from Miller is low, and that is another 2-out walk. So ball 4, and Mcveigh heads to first base, and Michigan will have Christina Burkhardt, the number 1 hitter in the lineup, stepping up to the plate.
It's a cruel bit of deja vu so far for Ashley Miller. We'll see if she can avoid a further recurrence of what happened in the first inning when she allowed 2 batters to reach on 2-out walks and then was victimized by a 2-run double off the bat of Taylor Bump.
First pitch to Burkhardt is high and outside. That is 5 straight balls.
Burkhardt was robbed of a base hit back in the first. A tremendous diving grab made by Katie Ladd over at second base.
Burkhardt gets the second pitch, and that one is inside and high for ball 2.
And so Miller has just lost control of the strike zone here.
2 balls, no strikes to count to Christina Burkhardt. And here's Miller. She comes set. And here's the pitch. And that one is shot to left field, but foul. 2 balls, 1 strike to count, but the teams are running off the field. I didn't see what happened. Did you see what happened?
It was very clearly a foul ball.
Oh, the first Ella Mcveigh, who was on first base, ran off the base early. Thank you. And so that'll do it for the bottom half of the second inning as Michigan heads to the defensive side of things on the field, and Michigan State now will have 1, 2, 3 up in their lineup.
Thank you to Joey Goodsir, who's sitting next to us. Give him the broadcast shout-out for saving us. So 2-1 the score, Michigan on top as we head to the top of the third. Alex Starraco coming back out for her third frame of work. It's been solid so far. Has given up a home run. Now her 6th home run that she surrendered in the past 3 appearances. But it was a solo blast, and so the Wolverines have the 2-1 lead here in Ann Arbor. What has turned into a beautiful near spring evening.
I can't see a cloud in the sky.
And to think
Only in the distance, actually.
I have my umbrella with me. I thought I would need it on the way back. And so Michigan State will flip the lineup over. It'll be the 1, 2, and 3. The top of the order coming up against Starraco in the third. That's Mabry, Callahan, and Wincher. Mabry worked a tough at-bat and drew a walk on a full-count pitch to lead off this ball game, was eventually stranded at third after Starraco set down the next 3 batters in order. Mabry hitting .287 on the year with that on-base percentage that it started the day at .450 and is now over that mark.
Not only is her on-base percentage .455, but her batting average when hitting leadoff is at .550. Talk about the ideal leadoff hitter, Jared.
And let's see if Jessica Mabry can get on again here for the Spartans. First pitch from Starraco, ducks inside. It's 1-0. Starraco allowed Mabry to reach base in the first, and then leading off the second, struck out Katie Ladd. The 1-0 pitch, cut on and miss at a rise ball, and it's 1-1. Blew it right by Mabry. Starraco has 4 strikeouts this afternoon already, adding to her total, which now stands at 179 on the season. 1-1 on the way. Fouled straight back to the screen. A good cut from Mabry, and it's 1-2.
Important for Starraco to get ahead in the count early on with these batters. She does so here, 1 ball and 2 strikes. But if she can take a page, or if she can learn from what Ashley Miller's doing, it's to not lose the batters and to keep the foot on the gas pedal.
That's flared to the left side of the infield. Mcveigh shading under it and makes the catch in shallow left field for the first out of the inning. So a harmless pop fly, a can of corn off the bat of Mabry is good for the first out at the top of the third. Which will bring Courtney Callahan to the plate. Lay down a bunt that advanced Mabry to first, back in the first. She'll almost certainly be swinging here with nobody on and 1 away in the top of the third. First pitch from Starraco is just a bit high, 1-0 to the left-handed hitting Callahan. Callahan hitting .291 on the season. Started 31 of 36 games for the Spartans, who entered today with a 20-16 mark. 1-0 is low off-speed pitch, and it's 2-0.
The strike zone for Courtney Callahan is extremely small. She stands at 5'3", and bends her knees a good amount when she's at the plate.
She's drawn 16 walks this year, second on the team, and that one rises well high, 3-0. So Starraco has fallen behind Callahan and now has her work cut out for her if she wants to not allow a 1-out base runner. 3-0 the count. Starraco to the left-handed batter, Callahan. That one's well high, ball 4. So Courtney Callahan, right on cue, works a 4-pitch walk. And the Spartans have a 1-out base runner for Cameron Wincher. And here we are again in Michigan State's lineup. It's Wincher and Barroso, the 1-2 punch hitting 3 and 4. And just like they did back in the first, they'll come on with a runner on base as Callahan is on first after the walk.
In that first inning, we saw Callahan sacrifice herself for Mabry, who was on base, but I don't foresee Wincher, who's hitting .357 on the year, following suit.
And she took a nasty hack at that first pitch. Fastball came up empty. It's 0-1. Wincher with 7 doubles and a home run on the year, slugging .450, takes that one just off the outside corner, and it's 1-1. Callahan on at first. She's stolen 9 bases in 11 tries, so you have to watch her speed. Carson has done a nice job behind the plate with that. Esmond pinched in at first, and a swing and a miss by Wincher. Starraco just rearing back and throwing it right by her, and it's 1-2. Starraco retired Wincher on a dribbler back to the mound back in the first. Would love to induce some more weak contact here. 1-2 the pitch to Wincher. Swing and a miss. She struck her out. The runner goes throw down to second. She got her. It's a striker out, thrower out, double play. Starraco takes care of Wincher, fanning her, and then Carson does the rest, snapping Callahan, trying to steal second base. And just like that, the side is retired.
Great call by you with Callahan running from first base. That was her 12th stolen base attempt on the season, only the 3rd time she's been thrown out. And Carson getting her at second for the striker out, thrower out play, and Michigan head to the bottom half of the 3rd inning.
And that's exactly what the doctor ordered for Starraco and the Wolverines. Facing 3 and 4 in that lineup after that 1-out walk, and got rid of it in one fell swoop with the strike him out, throw him out, double play. And that takes us to the bottom of the 3rd. Michigan still with the lead, 2-1 the score. Wolverines were staked to the lead back at the bottom of the 1st, a 2-run double off the bat of Taylor Bump. Michigan State cut the deficit in half with a solo home run off the bat of Jaquai Dumas in the 2nd that carried over the left field fence. And now Michigan will go back to work against Ashley Miller, who's out for her 3rd inning of work in this one. Michigan up 2-1. Wolverines.
And Burkhardt is going to go back to the plate. She ended that last inning at the plate on a foul ball, but it was Mcveigh who went off first base a little too early and resulted in the 3rd out of the inning. So it's going to be Burkhardt, the number 1 hitter in the lineup for Michigan, leading us off here in the bottom half of the 3rd inning.
And perhaps the blunder may work in the Wolverines' favor. Michigan gets to reset the order. Start at the top with Burkhardt, who worked a tremendous at-bat back in the first, was robbed of a hit. Now coming up for her second official at-bat. Burkhardt slashing .419 on the year. It'll be Ellie Sealer to follow her, and then Hannah Carson, who made that tremendous throw to nab Courtney Callahan, stealing second base, batting third. So Burkhardt, Sealer, Carson due up here against Ashley Miller in the bottom of the third. Michigan up 2-1. Burkhardt steps into the box. Miller's in the circle, and we're ready to go in the bottom of the third. Michigan on top 2-1. Burkhardt, left-handed hitter against Miller, right-handed thrower. Miller into the windup and deals. First pitch comes in low. It's 1-0. It's been a problem so far all evening for Miller. Has really struggled with command of the strike zone. Has walked 3 batters. All with 2 outs. The 1-0, Burkhardt flashes bunt and takes up and away, ball 2. So here we go again with Miller struggling to find the strike zone.
It's not something that we foresaw coming into this game. Only 26 walks and 119 innings pitched for Miller. But as you said, she's got a few early on here.
2-0, Burkhardt fouls it straight back, caroms off the screen. 2-1. Burkhardt has a knack for working out good at-bats. She's only struck out 11 times in the year. She's drawn 6 walks. Worked her way to a full count back in the first. In the driver's seat here, ahead in the count 2-1. Here comes the pitch from Miller, and Burkhardt takes that one and watches it find the strike zone 2-2. So Miller, after falling behind 2-0, has worked her way back even 2-2. Christina Burkhardt leading off the bottom of the third for the Wolverines. Michigan on top 2-1. Miller deals the 2-2, and that is just below the knees. And Burkhardt, just as she did in the first, works the count full.
Seems as though every single count here for Michigan is low. Either Miller starts out ahead and then Michigan fights their way back to make it full, or Michigan starts out ahead and then Miller fights back to make it full.
3-2 to Burkhardt, fouled back again, and we'll do that one over. So Burkhardt working a strong turn of bat here, really making Miller work. She's already up to 52 pitches on the afternoon with nobody out in the bottom of the third. Burkhardt leading off the frame. Corners pinched in. Miller ready and deals. 3-2 to Burkhardt. Ripped into right field. That's down for a base hit. Callahan fields it. Burkhardt holds on at first. And it's a leadoff single for Christina Burkhardt, who has smoked the ball twice this afternoon.
Katie Ladd not able to get that one, as that was a rocket between the 3-4 hole.
That time perfectly placed. And that'll hand the baton over to Ellie Sealer. 0 for 1 on the afternoon. Struck out back in the first. Freshman outfielder, left-handed hitter. Burkhardt on at first. Also a threat to steal. She's stolen 9 bases in the year. That leads the Wolverines. Has been caught just once. So that's something that if you're Kendall Cates behind the plate, you have to be aware of. Sealer lays down a bunt. Kate fields it, fires to first in time. And over to second is Burkhardt. So the sacrifice bunt. Second time we've seen that today. And that brings up Hannah Carson, who will now come to the dish with a runner in scoring position. Burkhardt on second with just 1 away.
Sealer getting the job done with that sacrifice bunt. Runner in scoring position for Michigan now. Michigan is 1 for 2 in such scenarios on the day.
Hannah Carson worked a 5-pitch walk back in the first. Came around to score on Taylor Bump's 2-out double. Looking to drive in a run of her own here. She's driven in 25 on the year. First pitch from Miller. Carson rips it to right center. That's down for a base hit. Burkhardt got a great read. She's coming around. She will score. The throw gets by the catcher. On her way to second is Carson. She's jetting for third. Cates gets to it, and all the way to third is Hannah Carson. With an RBI single, at least we'll see how they score it if there are any errors involved. Nonetheless, it's 3-1 Wolverines. Burkhardt comes around to score, and Michigan is just smoking the ball right now off of Ashley Miller.
Mabry tried to get Burkhardt at home, but had no shot at her and just overthrew the catcher, Cates.
Burkhardt was practically already around third by the time that Mabry had even reached the ball. Forget about getting into a crow hop, but just got into the ball in center field.
So instead of Carson being on first base with one out, Michigan once again has a runner in scoring position at third.
And that one dripped into right field, a base hit for Livingston. Carson will score, and it's 4-1 Wolverines.
Wow. Michigan not only getting base hits, but their base hits have been strong, hard contact.
And all to the right side of the field. By the way, on the Carson base knock, it was a single, and then advanced to second on the throw, and then third on the throwing error by Mabry as the ball trickled by Cates behind the dish. And then Livingston wasting no time ripping the base hit into right field. It's 4-1 Michigan, and the floodgates threatening to open with Taylor Bump, who got Michigan started in the first with a 2-run double at the dish. First pitch to Bump, and off-speed pitch drops in at the top of the zone for a strike. Well done there by Ashley Miller to go away from the fastball, which has been pounded by these Wolverine hitters here in the third. 0-1 the count to Bump. The 0-1, that's well too high, 1-1. Livingston, the runner at first. Not much of a threat to run. Ashley Miller just trying to settle down. Entered the day with an ERA at .82. That's up to .98 now.
She's been really good. Her previous high of earned runs allowed in the game was 2, which happened 3 times previously this season.
And Michigan's already tagged her for 4 here in the bottom of the third with just 1 away. The count now 2-1 to Bump as that pitch came in just low. Livingston, the runner at first, 1 away here in the bottom of the third. 2 runs already in the inning, 4 in the game. It's 4-1 Michigan, 2-1 to Bump. That catches the plate, 2-2.
Bump not expecting the off speed there as she was ahead of that one, but didn't take the bat off her shoulder.
So 2-2 to Taylor Bump. Here's the pitch, and that's in there. Strike 3 called. Punched her out with a fastball. The call a little delayed by Liz Hammerschmidt, but Bump knew it as soon as she took it. And so 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. That'll bring up Lauren Esmond to the plate. Melina Livingston still on at first. Michigan looking to add to what is a 3-run cushion. 4-1 here in the bottom of the third. And if Michigan learned anything this weekend in Evanston, it's that no lead is safe, even with Alex Starraco on the mound. First pitch to Esmond, cut and a miss. Healthy swing at a fastball, and it's 0-1.
In her previous at-bat, Lauren Esmond struck out in the first, trying to turn around her fortunes here as she's hitting .302 on the season.
0-1 pitch coming to Esmond, swing and a miss. And it's 0-2, another pitch up in the zone that Esmond couldn't handle. And so Miller ran out away from getting out of this inning, quelling the damage a little bit. She allowed 2 in the first, now 2 in the third, trying to keep the deficit at 4-1 for the Spartans. 0-2 the count to Esmond. Livingston, the runner on first. Here's the 0-2, and that time Esmond lays off the rise ball upstairs, and it's 1-2.
So if the trend continues, Lauren Esmond's going to work this count to being full.
Indeed. She has her work cut out for her, though, just 1-2.
Miller already 70 pitches in 3+ innings.
1-2 coming. Chops that one back, and pitch number 71. So as you alluded to, the pitch count really way up there for Ashley Miller. We'll see how deep she's able to go in this one. We're only in the bottom of the third. Miller ahead in the count 1-2, trying to retire Esmond. 5th pitch of the at-bat coming. Livingston on first. Here's the 1-2. Ducks inside 2-2. Livingston that was called strike 3.
That could not have been more delayed.
Liz Hammerschmidt, we teased you with the delayed strike 3 call a few moments ago at Taylor Bump, but Bump knew that one was a strike. That one looked like it might have ducked inside, and Hammerschmidt really bided her time there before calling the third the third strike. And so that's how the inning comes to a close. Back-to-back punch-outs. Not before Michigan strikes twice. And a Carson with a big hit to drive in a run, and Melina Livingston does the same. And so the Wolverines have staked Alex Starraco to a 4-1 advantage as we head to the top of the fourth.
In the top of the fourth inning for Michigan State, they're going to have 4, 5, and 6 at bat. Alexis Barroso, Katie Ladd, and Kaylee Roper. Each of them 0 for 1 on the day. Barroso is going to be leading us off here in the top of the fourth. She struck out in the first inning. One of 5 strikeout victims to Alex Starraco on the day.
Alex Starraco has done a nice job this afternoon. She has given up that home run, but from what we saw over the weekend in Evanston, she's righted the ship a little bit. Looks like she's having fun out there, looks comfortable in the circle. And that's what Michigan needs out of its ace pitcher as the season winds and moves on and Big Ten play continues. We're early on in Big Ten play, but Michigan started 0-4. That's certainly disconcerting. 2 losses to Nebraska, 2 more to Northwestern. Trying to rally and find some momentum and ride off that victory Sunday afternoon against the Wildcats.
As you said, Starraco allowed that home run, but other than that, she's been stellar as Michigan State is 1 for 8. Other than that home run, no other extra base hits, just that one bloop single. So there's 2 hits in that second inning of the only hits on the board for Michigan State. Alexis Barroso stepping up to the batter's box now as Starraco toes the rubber. And Liz Hammerschmidt puts on her helmet behind home plate, and we are ready to do it.
You think she has any more delayed third strike calls?
Oh, man, I don't doubt it. And Starraco deals, and that's a foul ball that goes into the stands behind home plate. Starting off the top of the fourth inning with a strike. No balls, 1 strike to count. And second pitch from Starraco is a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Alexis Barroso getting ready for the third pitch from Starraco. Here it is. That's a foul ball, but potentially playable, but not. It is off the net on the first base side. And that brings the count to 1 ball, 2 strikes. Lauren Essman, the first baseman for Michigan, looked like she almost had a shot at that one, but it was about 10 feet up on that netting. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Alexis Barroso.
Barroso, part of that 1-2 punch in the middle of the order alongside Cameron Winchard, entered the day hitting .361. That's down to a measly .357.
And the pitch fouled off once again into the stands. Count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes. Barroso has been a revelation for Michigan State this year. The sophomore from Monrovia, California. Last year she hit .208 with 8 extra base hits. This season, as you just said, her batting average coming to this one was .361, leading the team. Again, a foul ball. She's right on it, but just can't put it fair.
Doing a nice job staying alive. Fouled off 3 straight pitches. This comes after she struck out back in the first with a runner on third.
So we'll do it again. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Starraco deals. Off-speed pitch, lifted to left field. But Sealer is there, and that's out number 1 in the top half of the fourth inning.
Barroso just got underneath that one a little bit, or else she might have tagged that off her face on the scoreboard.
That's the first hard contact that Michigan State has had that resulted in an out of the day. Katie Ladd stepping to the dish now. Second batter in the top half of the fourth inning. Ladd, the second baseman for Michigan State. She's a senior hitting .277 on the year. As she looks at the first offering from Starraco is high for ball number 1. She also struck out in the second inning. Second offering from Starraco is high once again. 2 balls, no strikes to count, with 1 out in the top half of the fourth inning. Starraco. Here's the pitch. 3 balls, no strikes. That one was high and outside.
A little uncharacteristic of Starraco here in this at-bat has lost the strike zone. Neither pitch close, all 3 way upstairs.
Starraco's already reached her 2 walks per 7-inning average, as that one's in there for a strike. 3 balls, 1 strike. So in 3 1/3 innings, Starraco with 2 walks. And now she's facing Katie Ladd with 3 balls here.
See if that strike reorients her at all.
3 balls, 1 strike, the count, 1 out. Here's the pitch. And that one's hit to the third baseman, bump, fires to first, and Esmond's got it. That is out number 2. Nice throw by Taylor Bump. Lauren.
Hot shot to third, right at Bump, though. Didn't have to move an inch. Was positioned perfectly along the line to stop that one.
That is out number 2. Kaylee Roper stepping to the plate. Roper struck out in the 2nd inning. And the first pitch is outside for a ball. And Roper is the shortstop for Michigan State. She's a freshman from Venice, Florida, and looks at that one low. Ball number 2. She's a freshman hitting .211, and she was actually among the top 200 infield recruits in the nation, according to Extra Innings Softball. And foul ball behind home plate. That brings the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. 2-1 the count from Starraco. And Roper's ready for it. And that one's low and outside. Once again, a 3-ball count from Alex Starraco.
Scoreboard has it as a 3-strike count. I think Hannah Carson is out for a mound visit with Starraco because no one's sure what the count is.
3 balls, 1 strike the count.
There we go.
Hannah Carson jogging back to home plate. And Kaylee Roper stepping into the batter's box. And we are ready for the 5th pitch of the at-bat. Starraco deals, and that's a strike swinging. Bringing the count full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs.
Roper couldn't lay off the high cheese and couldn't connect either.
3 balls, 2 strikes the count. Starraco looking for a 6th strikeout of the day, and that one is popped up and playable. Bump is there, right in the circle, and she catches that one to do it for the top half of the 4th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on base. And we head to the bottom half of the 4th inning with Michigan leading this one 4-1.
Starraco really starting to settle in back-to-back scoreless frames in the 3rd and the 4th. Michigan up 4-1.
Due up for Michigan is 7, 8, and 9, just as it was in that 2nd inning. Leclaire, Kirsten, and Mcveigh due up at the plate. In her last plate appearance, Leclaire grounded out to the 3rd baseman, Barroso. And there was the confusion whether or not she was safe or out. Then the initial call of out held up, and she had to retreat to the dugout. And there's a pitching change for Michigan State. So stepping to the mound is Sarah Ladd from Michigan State. She has a 2.55 ERA. She's appeared in 18 games with 9 starts.
Well, we mentioned Ashley Miller's pitch count. Wolverines really made her work across 3 frames. Ends the day at 72 pitches across 15 batters faced. Gave up those 4 runs and 3 hits across 3 innings. 3 walks as well, which really came back to bite her.
Exactly, and by far the most Miller has been touched up this season. As I said earlier, her previous high this season for earned runs in a game was 2, which occurred on 3 different instances. And in this one, only 3 innings pitched and allowed 4 runs.
And Miller often lost control of the strike zone, but part of the damage done is a testament to the Wolverines' approach at the plate. Very disciplined, very patient. Didn't really see them chasing too many pitches, and when they got the bat on the ball, we were able to make really solid contact spraying it around the diamond.
And we are in the middle of the fourth inning right now. There's a team meeting for Michigan State in the circle. And we are ready to do it now in the bottom half of the fourth inning. Michigan leading this one 4-1, ahead in the hits column 4-2. And Michigan, no errors to Michigan State's 1. And that error from Michigan State really ended up hurting them. It was the center fielder Jessica Mabry firing to home plate, resulting in a runner being on third base instead of first, and then she ended up scoring on the next play instead of it being runners on first and second.
We'll see if that run comes back to play a difference later.
And the first pitch to Audrey Leclaire is swung on and missed for a strike, so no balls and 1 strike to count to the leadoff hitter in the bottom half of the fourth inning. And Leclaire slaps that one foul off the netting, so no balls and 2 strikes. She's once again squaring around like she's going to show bunt, and then pulling it back and slapping the offering. And with Miller was a little rattled by that, but it appears that Ladd has her concentration in check and set on the plate. And the third pitch of the at-bat is high and outside for a ball. So 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Ladd's numbers aren't as strong as Miller's, but respectable nonetheless. 2.55 ERA with a whip just below 1, 7-6 across 74 innings pitched. Less of a strikeout pitcher, just 72 strikeouts on the season.
And that is a strikeout. The fourth pitch of the at-bat was swung on and missed by Audrey Leclaire. And the first batter that Sarah Ladd faces is set down on strikes.
I don't know if it's quite the announcer's jinx, what I just did, but some version of it. Maybe they can hear us.
And maybe she's set for a career day with strikeouts because of you, Jared.
Just
Who knows?
Strike out every batter.
And Sierra Corsun stepping to the plate now. She looks at that one high and outside. 1 ball and no strikes. And Audrey Leclaire's strikeout was the first out of the inning. So 1 out in the bottom half of the fourth inning. Ladd deals. And that is strike 1, swinging. 1 ball and 1 strike, 1 out in the inning. Something Miller struggled with on the day was her command, and really Michigan, as you said, she had those 72 pitches. Michigan made her work the count. But early in this fourth inning, with a ball there, Sarah Ladd is potentially going to have to do the same thing. 2 balls and 1 strike. Two balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Sarah Ladd fires, and that is a foul ball into the netting behind home plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes to count.
Kirsten right on top of that one, sent it straight back to the net.
Sierra Corsun, the designated player today for Michigan. She was coming out of high school, she was pretty highly recruited. She was the 2019 Gatorade Player of the Year nominee. So she did not end up winning the award, but she was a nominee coming out of high school. And she rockets that one into center field, but that is catchable and caught by Jessica Mabry.
Mabry got an excellent jump on that one, almost overran it, but plenty of time to readjust and settle under it.
So that'll bring us to 2 outs in the bottom half of the fourth inning. And now we are at the 9-hitter in the order, Ella Mcveigh, who in her last plate appearance walked and then left first base early to end the second inning when Christina Burkhardt was at the plate. So looking to get back on base here. First offering from Ladd is in there for a strike. As Mcveigh takes a running start and she's ready to hack and let that one go by, not swinging. She ran completely out of the batter's box and 2 or 3 feet towards the mound. Mcveigh scoring a bunt, pulls it back, and looks at that one go by. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Mcveigh takes a practice cut, steps into the box, And Sarah Ladd twirling the ball in her hand. She's ready. Fires, swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count with 2 outs.
Ladd may only average less than a strikeout per inning, but she's shown some good swing and miss stuff here, generating a lot of empty swings from the Wolverines across the first 3 batters that she's faced this afternoon.
Looking for strikeout number 2. Here's the pitch. And fouled off behind home plate and out of play. Off the netting. 1 ball and 2 strikes. But again, something happened with Ella Mcveigh to cause the 3rd out of the inning. But she left the box early, so that'll do it for the bottom half of the 4th inning.
First time she left the bag, now she left the box.
So she stepped out of the box, and that'll do it. As I said, for the bottom half of the 4th inning, no runs, no hits, no errors as the Michigan 7, 8, 9 batters go down 1, 2, 3.
Blunders galore for Ella Mcveigh here.
And Sarah Ladd steps into the game and limits the damage.
And since that goes down in the books as a strikeout, she, of course, racked up 2 strikeouts after we said she's not a strikeout pitcher.
Yeah.
4-1 the score. Michigan on top as we flip things over to the top of the 5th. Alex Starraco back out for more. 65 pitches deep into her evening. She's pitched effectively so far, allowing just 2 hits and a run. That 1 run coming off a solo shot into left field by Zaquai Dumas. But besides a 2-batter span in the 2nd inning when she gave up 2 hits, she's really been tremendous this afternoon. Has walked 2, but struck out 5 across those 4 innings of work and has settled in the last 2 frames in particular.
And it is Zaquai Dumas stepping to the plate right now.
We'll see if Dumas can strike twice.
If she can Dumas.
Not Menos. Starraco in the circle. I think we're just waiting for a TV signal here because this game is on BTN. So don't blame us.
Taylor Bump joining Alex Starraco in the circle, keeping her a little bit of company. And we are ready to go, says home plate umpire Liz Hammerschmidt.
So Dumas at the dish, Starraco in the circle. 7, 8, 9 due up in the 5th for Michigan State. First pitch just misses on the inside half of the plate. It's 1-0. Dumas, right-handed batter. Starraco, right-handed pitcher. Dumas hitting .218 on the season, has 6 home runs as that skips in the dirt. And it's 2-0. Starraco has fallen behind the first batter here in the 5th. She's walked 2 today. Her pitch count, though, is reasonable, 65 through 4+. Starraco looks in for the signs from Carson. And here comes the 2-0, and Dumas chops that one foul straight back, and it's 2-1.
As you alluded to, Dumas is a very dangerous power hitter with those 6 home runs on the season, and she only has 12 hits in those 55 at-bats, so half of her hits are home runs, and 8 out of her 12 are extra base hits.
Wave and a miss on the 2-1, it's 2-2, and her slugging percentage sticks out like a sore thumb, .519. I missed the Michigan State lineup. Most numbers are mid-4s, and everyone else is well below that. 2-2, though, to Dumas. Starraco and Dumas even in the count. Here's the pitch, swing and a miss. She struck her out, went after the pitch in the dirt, and Alex Starraco begins the 5th with her 6th strikeout of the evening.
Starraco is on track for those 11.4 strikeouts per 7 innings. She has 6 now today.
Kendall Cates at the dish. Dunked a single into left her first time up. Flares that one wide of third, foul down the line. Nearly had her second hit of the afternoon, but instead is behind in the count 0-1.
And we were really harping on that first half of the batting lineup being the better half for Michigan State today. And both hits for Michigan State have come from the 7 and 8 hitters.
Another bit of a reverse announcer's jinx of some sort. 0-1 the count. Starraco readies and deals, and Cates lets that one go by for a strike, and it's 0-2. So Starraco doing a nice job here controlling the strike zone after falling behind Dumas 2-0. Has now thrown 5 straight strikes across these two batters. The 0-2 is low, right on cue, and it's 1-2 to Cates.
Doesn't seem like any batter will go down easily today as everyone's been working the count on both sides.
1-2 from Starraco to Cates is in there. Strike 3 called. The good old-fashioned delayed call from Liz Hammerschmidt, and she rings up Cates. Back-to-back strikeouts to begin the 5th for Alex Starraco, moving her total to the day to 7. And so Starraco looking to strike out the side. 2 down in the 5th. And now Meach comes to the plate. First pitch, chopped to third. Bump snares it in the hole. Makes the running throw across the diamond in time. And it's an easy-peasy 1-2-3 inning for Alex Starraco in the top of the 5th. 4-1 Wolverines as we head to the bottom of the 5th.
Taylor Bump has really been showing off her prowess there at third base defensively and offensively today with that 2 RBI double. So quite the day for Taylor Bump, backing up her starter, Alex Starraco, and supplying her with amazing defense, amazing offense, and playing a large role in Michigan's 4-1 lead so far today.
Top of the order upcoming here in the bottom of the 5th for the Wolverines, Burkhardt, Sealer, and Carson, as Michigan will look to extend its lead. The score 4-1 in the bottom of the 5th. Wolverines looking for their second consecutive Big Ten victory. It would only be their second Big Ten victory of the season. They enter the day 20-11 overall, but just 1-4 in conference. 2 losses to Nebraska and 2 losses to Northwestern. They've got Michigan State tonight before 3 right back here at Alumni Field against Penn State over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
So for the 3rd time today, it's going to be Burkhardt leading off. In the 1st and the 3rd innings, we saw batters 1 through 6, and then in the 2nd and the 4th, it was 7, 8, 9, and now we're in the 5th inning. So should we prepare for 1 through 6 again, Jared?
I think so. Burkhardt got robbed of a hit back in the 1st. A frozen rope off her bat was caught by Katie Ladd, who made a diving catch at second base. Got some form of revenge in the 3rd. Ripped a single to right, came around to score on a Hannah Carson base knock. We'll see what she has in store for her 3rd at-bat on the day. Burkhardt, Sealer, Carson, 1, 2, 3 in the order coming out for the Wolverines, who have a 4-1 lead over the rival Spartans here at Alumni Field. The sun beginning to set, but no rain, that is cleared, and a strong crowd on hand. The bleachers nearly packed in the outfield and along the baselines as well for this rivalry showdown. So here is Burkhardt hitting .425 on the season. Left-handed batter will get her first crack at Sarah Ladd. The right-handed thrower deals, and it's low, 1-0.
Sarah Ladd fared very well against the 7, 8, 9 hitters in that Michigan order, but now the real challenge comes with the top half of this lineup. So let's see how she responds here.
1-0 coming to Burkhardt. It is low, ball 2. So Burkhardt, who worked full counts in each of her first 2 at-bats in the 1st and the 3rd, has now gotten herself in the driver's seat by laying off 2 pitches below the knees, and it's 2-0. Sarah Ladd taking a little extra time before she toes the rubber. Here for the 3rd pitch upcoming. Peers in for the shine from Cates and deals. The 2-0, Burkhardt flares it to left, giving chase and making the catch is Roper. Just at the edge of fair territory, she winds up in foul territory. to retire Burkhardt.
Good range there by Roper. Going to her right, making that play. And so far for Sarah Ladd, it is 4 up, 4 down.
And 1 away here to begin the bottom of the 5th. Ellie Sealer coming up to the plate. First pitch is low, 1-0. Sealer struck out in the first and then laid down a sacrifice bunt in the third. Freshman outfielder, batting .212 on the season. Has seen her playing time increase with Lexi Blair's absence. Blair has now missed the past 3 games after suffering an apparent knee injury in the opener against Northwestern. 1-0 to Sealer, rides high, ball 2. Substitution for the Spartans, Abby Joseph out in left field, Mackenzie Meach out of the ballgame. Melissa Travelpiece was initially the starting right fielder. She got pulled early as that pitch is low, ball 3 to Seiler. But the Spartans like to do that, playing a bit of musical chairs in the outfield. It's a bit of a revolving door in the 9-hole for Michigan State, and we've seen that so far today with 3 different players assuming that spot in the order. Ladd has retired the first 4 Wolverines she's faced in relief of Miller, but behind here on Sealer 3-0. Now that one comes in for a strike, 3-1.
Miller did a great job of working her way back into counts when faced with a 3-0 or 2-0 count. Sarah Ladd looking to do the same here.
3-1 to Sealer, cut on and miss, her eyes ball, and it's 3-2. So right on cue, Sarah Ladd has worked her way from 3-0 to 3-2 and has a chance to retire Ellie Sealer. Burkhardt popped out to short to lead off the bottom of the 5th. Sealer, the second batter. Carson awaits on deck. 3-2 pitch, rip to left. Joseph started in, now he's back and makes the catch. So 2 up, 2 down, 5 up, 5 down total in relief for Sarah Ladd. And that'll bring up Hannah Carson, who has had a great day at the dish and behind the plate. So far today, she's thrown out a runner, walked and scored, singled, drove in a run, and scored. So Carson's done it all. See what she can add to her tally here in her 3rd at-bat.
Can't get much better. Perfect day, 1 for 1 on base percentage. Can't get any better than that.
First pitch coming from Ladd to Carson. Ripped into left field. Joseph coming on. Can't make the catch. It skips by her. Carson rounds first. She's digging into second, and she'll make it standing up. Hannah Carson, have yourself a day.
So she's got a walk, a single. Now we'll see how they rule that one, but it appeared to be a double.
Joseph was a little awkward lunging for that sinking line drive. Tried to reach down for it, couldn't get it, and then she got enough glove on it so that it didn't skip all the way by her. But it went by her far enough to allow Carson to get to second. That'll bring up Livingston to the dish, who drove in a run her last plate appearance. Pinch runner for Carson. Carson will take a seat. And into the game for the Wolverines to run is Kaylee Rodriguez. Meeting at the mound for the Spartans as the substitution occurs. They did score at a double for Hannah Carson. So she's got a double, a single. She's scored twice and driven in a run and thrown out a runner behind the dish. Melina Livingston as one of the 4 Wolverine RBIs on the afternoon. She's at the dish with a chance to drive in another. Rodriguez, with some added speed, is on second. First pitch comes in for a strike.
Rodriguez, the pinch runner, is 3 for 5 this year in stolen base attempts, primarily used as a pinch runner. She'll be on the move on contact with there being 2 outs, so she's coming around to score if the ball gets out of the infield.
Livingston hammers deep to right, heading back, and it's gone! Home run, Melina Livingston, touch 'em all. A 2-run shot for Livingston, and it's 6-1 Wolverines.
So now in the first, third, and fifth innings, when Michigan is leading off, or when Burkhardt is leading off the inning for Michigan, the Wolverines have put up a 2-spot.
And Livingston got a hold of that one. It went out of here in a hurry and just snuck over the wall in right field for a home run. Melina Livingston touches them all. It's her first home run of the year, and it gives Michigan a comfortable 6-1 lead. And so Sarah Ladd had been cruising, had retired all 5 Wolverines she faced in relief. Anna Carson notched her for a double that fell just in front of Joseph in left field. They say baseball is a game of inches, applies to softball also. If Joseph had caught that ball, the 2 runs would not have been scored, but Livingston able to capitalize and make it 6-1 Wolverines.
And that was Livingston's first career home run as a Michigan Wolverine. She had her fair share as a Nittany Lion for Penn State. This being her first season, that's her first home run. That was her first career Michigan Wolverine home run.
And here's Taylor Bump, got the scoring going back in the first inning for Michigan with a 2-out, 2-run double. First pitch to Bump comes in for a strike. Wolverines had 2 in the first, 2 in the third, 2 in the fifth, and at this rate, they won't have a chance to have 2 in the seventh. They're up 6-1 right now in the bottom of the fifth. 0-1 the count to Bump. Ladd looking to regroup after that 2-run shot off the bat of Livingston. Here's the 0-1, swing and a miss, and it's 0-2 to Bump.
History repeats itself. Taylor Bump will get on, and Lauren Essman will end the bottom half of the 5th inning.
We will see. Bump's got a hole to work out of. Down in the count, 0-2. Here comes the pitch. Flared to right, falling fast, and making the diving catch is Callahan. Oh, wow, a full extension along the line. Snared it to take away what could have been a hit from Bump if it landed in fair territory. It was straddling that line. Tremendous play by Courtney Callahan to retire the side, but not before the Wolverines tack on 2 more. A 2-run shot by Melina Livingston pushes the lead to 6-1.
But the damage was done in that one, as Starraco is now working with a 5-run lead. And again, Michigan State only has 2 hits. Both of those hits occurred in that second inning. Back-to-back batters, the home run and the bloop single. Other than that, it's been quiet.
Starraco has really settled in and staked to that 5-run cushion, as you said. Just 6 more outs to go here, potentially, in this one.
Due up for Michigan State, 1, 2, and 3 in the batting order. Jessica Mabry, followed by Courtney Callahan, who made that amazing play to end that past inning, and then Cameron Wincher batting third. So first up is Jessica Mabry, the official leadoff hitter for Michigan State. She's 0 for 1 on the day with a walk and then a pop out. She popped out to Ella Mcveigh at shortstop in that 3rd inning. As we head to the top half of the 6th inning, again, Michigan leading this one 6-1, leading the hits category 6-2, and no errors to Michigan State's 1. Jessica Mabry, the senior from Scottsdale, Arizona, transferred from the University of Pacific. This is her first season as a Spartan. She appeared in and started 93 career games for the University of Pacific. She fires that one up the middle, and that's in there for a single. As Mabry starts off the top half of the 6th inning on base, and the Spartans trying to get back into this one, down by 5, by a score of 6-1.
Well, if Michigan State is going to get back into this one, it's going to need a few more of those, but that's certainly a good place to start. Jessica Mabry, first pitch hitting, has that first hit for Michigan State since that 2nd inning.
Stepping to the box now is Courtney Callahan. Callahan shoots that one to center field, but there is Burkhardt, And a few feet in front of the warning track makes the play. And retreating to first base is Mabry. No harm, no foul.
Well, that was a screamer off the bat of Callahan. Looked to be hit much better than it actually was. Sort of died right on the edge of the warning track.
As we can see the flag beyond center field, not even moving.
No
wind. That one just died. As we're going to have a meeting in the circle.
Alex Starraco's given up some hard contact to the first two batters in the Michigan State lineup, and she's got the two big boppers coming up in Wincher and Barroso.
Each now hitting .354 on the day after going 0 for 2 thus far in the afternoon. Cameron Wincher, the first baseman for Michigan State, is a junior from Houston, Texas. Last year, she hit .227. So, just like Barroso, she did not have a good season last year, but she's really turned things around. And she's tied with Barroso for the team lead in average. Started the day hitting .360, and she has a team lead in total bases with 50. So, these 4-5 hitters, or 3-4 hitters, for Michigan State have had quite the turnaround from their seasons last year. And the first pitch to Wincher is high and outside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes to count with 1 out in the top half of the 6th inning. The runner on first base is Jessica Mabry. She is a threat to steal with 4 stolen bases on 5 attempts on the year. Although Michigan State is probably going to be conservative on the base paths.
And Michigan's certainly weary of Michigan State on the base paths. Throw behind the runner there from Carson coming into Esmond, but Mabry not stranding too far away from the bag.
And that was a strike from Starraco, so it's 1 ball and 1 strike before that pickoff attempt. And that pitch is high for a ball, so 2 balls and 1 strike to count. As I said, Mabry is not really taking too large of a lead, but Carson was trying to keep her honest there at first base and throw behind her. And the next pitch is high, so it's 3 balls and 1 strike to count. Cameron Wincher making Starraco work, making her find the strike zone. And here's the pitch, and that is in there for a strike, keeping the bat on Wincher's shoulder. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out.
It is 6-1, but it's a tenuous position for Starraco to be in, facing Wincher with Barroso on deck, a runner on at first.
And the pitch is in there for a strike. It's the 8th strikeout of the day for Starraco, and the 2nd out of the 6th inning.
And not sure what Wincher was looking for there, just the fastball right over the heart of the plate. She knew it was a strike as soon as it came in. And a much-needed out for Starraco, who's settling down after that hard contact to begin the frame.
Now Alexis Barroso up at the plate. Swings and fouled this one off the net. So first pitch is a strike, so no balls and 1 strike to count with 2 outs. In the first inning, she struck out. In the 4th, she flew out to the left fielder Sealer. No hard contact on the day for Barroso. She looks at that one in for a strike. No balls and 2 strikes to count. Starraco not messing around. Starraco twirling the ball in her hand. She comes set and fires. That one's low, but it is swung on and missed, and Barroso's down on strikes, and that'll do it for the 6th inning as Alex Starraco strikes out 2 of the 3 batters, and there is no runs, no errors, and 1 runner left on base after a single to right field. And as we head to the bottom half of the 6th inning, Michigan leading this one 6-1.
And that is Starraco at her finest right there. Looked to be in some murky waters to begin the inning with the hard-hit single and then the long fly out to center field. Michigan State's 2 best hitters coming up, but dispatched of them with ease. Fell behind Wincher, worked her way back, and then Barroso. 1, 2, 3 pitches. The 3rd one well in the dirt, but Barroso just show off her game because Starraco was in control and command. And Michigan's got a 6-1 lead, and the Wolverines are cruising in this one.
Yes, they are indeed. Looking to add some added insurance now in the bottom half of the 6th inning are the 6, 7, and 8 hitters, Lauren Essman, Audrey Leclaire, and Sierra Kirsten. I was one batter off with my prediction there in the last inning for Michigan. Essman 0 for 2 on the day with 2 strikeouts, 1 looking and 1 swinging. The strikeout swinging came in the first, and the 1 looking came in the third. The difference in this one, really, as Michigan's leading 6-1, is the effectiveness of the Michigan bats with runners in scoring position and the ability to get runners in scoring position. They are 4 for 5 in such instances as compared to Michigan State's 0 for 2. So with 4 hits with runners in scoring position, that will lead to 6 runs. Especially with a pitcher the likes of Alex Starraco on the mound, any type of run support will get the job done. Starraco is through 6 innings, only allowing 1 run, which came on that solo shot in the second. And Lauren Essman stepping up to the plate. And Ladd is back out there, and that's a shot to center field. And that is beyond the center fielder, Mabry, as she dives, and that's going to the wall. And Essman's holding up at second base. And she is in there standing with a double to start off the bottom half of the 6th inning.
Well, there's a shot off the bat of Essman, hard hit into right center. Mabry gave a diving attempt, never really came close to it. And a leadoff base runner for the Wolverines as they look to add on some few extra insurance runs here in the bottom of the 6th, already up 6-1.
It appears as though there's a substitution for Michigan.
Kiki Thole looks like she's going to pinch hit for Audrey Leclaire.
Kiki Thole up to the plate now for Michigan, the 5'10" sophomore from Tinley Park, Illinois. And here's the first pitch to Thole. That is low and outside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes, nobody out. Lauren Essman standing on second. So as I mentioned before the inning started, Michigan 4 for 5 with runners in scoring position on the day. And here's Thole looking to add to that total. And here she is looking at ball number 2. That one's low and hits the right batter's box. So after that low and outside offering by Sarah Ladd, that brings the count to 2 balls and no strikes. Thole's ready. Here's Ladd with the pitch. That one's in there for a strike. 2 balls, 1 strike to count. Fastball right down the middle. And now Thole has seen 2 balls and 1 strike. On the year, Thole has 3 home runs. She is 8 for 44, good for a batting average of 182. And here's the pitch. That one is outside, says Hammerschmidt. So 3 balls and 1 strike. Good job working the count by Thole. Let's see if Sarah Ladd can go back to finding the plate. She didn't really struggle with command that much early on in relief. And here she is. That one's over the plate, but that's popped up to the shortstop Roper, and she's there for an out. That is the first out of the bottom half of the 6th inning. So Lauren Essman remains on second. And another pinch hitter stepping up to the plate. And that's number 66, Annabelle Widra. Widra, the freshman from Hoover, Alabama. She has had success early on this season. Pretty large sample size for someone who's not starting today. 55 at bats. She's hitting .309. That is a foul ball out of play. Starting the count with a strike, no balls, and 1 strike with 1 out, runner on second. Widra is second on the team in strikeouts behind Kaylee Roper. And Widra is ready for this one, pops it straight up. And it may go out of play, but it is caught by the third baseman, Barroso, by the dugout, by the Michigan State dugout.
Right along the railing there, tailed back in play at the last second. Just enough room on the diamond to make that play.
And we have another pinch hitter. So 3 straight pinch hitters, 7, 8, and 9.
Hutchins just emptying the bench here, getting some players some extra at-bats with Michigan staked to a 5-run cushion.
Lexi Voss stepping to the plate now for Michigan. Pinch hitting for Ella Mcveigh. She's a junior from Palos Park, Illinois. Lexi Voss this season is 1 for 22. Her lone hit, a double. First pitch is in there for a strike.
Ladd has settled down a bit, inducing some weak contact after that hard-hit double off the bat of Esmond to begin the inning.
No balls, 1 strike to count, 2 outs. Lauren Esmond still on second. And here's the pitch. That one's low and outside for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Ladd, 2 2/3 pitched though so far today, allowing 3 hits, 2 runs, both earned, along with 2 strikeouts. Here's the pitch to Voss, swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes, with 2 outs.
Ladd's been serviceable in relief of Miller, but the Spartans' offense hasn't gotten anything going off of Starraco. Just 1 run on 3 hits across 6 frames.
Only mistake by Ladd was serving up that home run to Livingston. Other than that, she's been exactly what Michigan State could have wanted. And that pitch is a ball, evening up the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes, with 2 outs in the bottom half of the 6th inning. One would think this is Michigan's last ups for this game. They are up 6-1 with 3 outs remaining in the top half of the 7th. But right now we're in the bottom half of the 6th. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here's the pitch. And fouled off, out of play. Behind home plate. And we will do it again. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Some action in the Michigan State bullpen, but Sarah Ladd looks like she's going to be finishing this one off. And she toes the rubber, and she's ready. Here's the pitch. Low and outside, Voss. Good eye there. Making the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
A strong turn at bat for Lexi Voss, really making Ladd work here. Esmond, the runner at second, 2 down and a full count here in the bottom of the 6th. Burkhardt awaits on deck.
And 3-2 pitch to Voss. Cut on and fouled off by the Michigan State dugout by third base.
It's sent Hutchins hopping out of the way over there on the third base sideline drive, coming right towards her.
And we will do it again at 3 balls and 2 strikes. And as you said, Burkhardt is on deck. So Sarah Ladd looking to eliminate the threat of Michigan flipping the lineup and having their leadoff hitter in the batter's box. Lexi Voss ready for the pitch. 3-2 pitch. Here we go. And that is a dribbler to the shortstop. Roper fires to first base, and that is an out. That is the 3rd out of the inning. And Michigan will head back to the dugout for the top half of the 7th inning, leading 6-1. No runs, no errors, and 1 runner left on base as we head to the top half of the 7th inning. with Alex Starraco trying to finish this one off with a 6-1 lead.
6-1 the score. Michigan on top. Alex Starraco has been tremendous all day today, and she's looking to do what she does, finish off games. Has 11 complete games on the season. Today would be her 12th. She's been sparkling so far today, holding the Spartans' offense at bay. Just 1 run and 3 hits allowed across 6 innings. She's walked 2, struck out 9. That's now 184 strikeouts on the season. Three more batters are all that stands between Michigan picking up another Michigan picking up what would be its second consecutive victory, its second consecutive Big Ten victory, and its second Big Ten victory on the young season.
As we're at the close of this one, or almost at the close of this one, still 3 outs to go, we can see the baseball field, as Jared mentioned earlier. Michigan playing against Indiana-Purdue Fort Wayne. Indiana-Purdue Fort Wayne leading 6-3, even though they come into that one with a record of 4-22.
Let's focus on the results ongoing here, I guess. For now, this Michigan team looks to be in good position for a victory, but it's not over until it's over. And so Michigan State sends up Kaylee Ladd, the 5-hitter, to begin what it hopes will be a stellar comeback. Starraco on the circle, trying to finish things off. First pitch comes in for a strike, and it's 0-1 to Kaylee Ladd. Ladd 0 for 2 on the day with a strikeout against Starraco, who has lowered her season ERA to 1.54. Began the day at 1.57. Deals to the right-handed hitter Ladd, flares it foul down the left field side, thuds off the sidewall, and it's quickly 0-2.
Stands are beginning to empty a little bit.
Sensing a victory perhaps here. Michigan State has 3 outs to play with, 0-2 the count to Ladd. Starraco eyeing what would be her 12th complete game on the season, and it would be a turnaround from how her 2 appearances in Evanston went. Swing and a miss, she struck her out. Makes quick work of Ladd. Fans are on 3 pitches, 1 up, 1 down to begin the top of the 7th.
And Starraco getting her 10th strikeout there, getting double digits through 6 1/3. 2 more batters to go. 6 and 7 in the Michigan State batting order. Roper and then Dumas.
Roper, the right-handed hitter, in now. She's 0 for 2 on the day. First pitch flares it down the right field side, giving chase is Esmond, but it juts off the sidewall and ricochets back into fair territory for a foul ball, 0-1. So Starraco pouring in strikes to begin the 7th, wants to get this one over and done with. Michigan State trying to mount some form of resistance. Roper at the dish. Dumas, who's tagged Starraco for the only run for the Spartans of the day, is on deck. That pitch just a bit high, 1-1. You can see Carol Hutchins motioning from the dugout, yelling at Liz Hammerschmidt, thought that was a strike. 1-1 the count to Roper. Here it comes. Swing and a miss. She went after the rise ball way upstairs, and it's 1-2. Starraco with 10 strikeouts on the evening. 6.1 innings, a 1-run ball. Needs 2 more outs to finish things off. Here comes the 1-2 to Roper upstairs, 2-2. Michigan in front, 6-1. Wolverines scored 2 in the first off a double from Taylor Bump, 2 in the third. Livingston and Carson cashing in, and then 2 more in the 5th on a 2-run home run by Livingston. Here comes the 2-2, fouled straight back. Good cut by Roper, staying alive. 6th pitch of the at-bat upcoming here from Starraco to Roper. 1 out in the top of the 7th. Michigan up 5, 6-1 the score. Starraco looks on. Here comes the 2-2. And it is in there. Strike 3 called. Got her looking. 2 up, 2 down. 2 strikeouts to begin the top of the 7th. And the Wolverines are 1 out away.
Starraco in line with her season average of 11 strikeouts per 7. She now has 11 through 6 and 2/3 innings pitched. Really, that only blip on her day was that second inning with those 2 hits. The home run by Dumas, who's now at the plate, and the bloop single by Cates.
So Michigan State down to its final out. And that's in the form of Jaquay Dumas. Tags Starraco for a solo shot to left field back in the second inning. That's all the Spartans have been able to muster today off of Alex Starraco, who has surrendered just 3 hits. She's walked 2 across 6 2/3 sparkling innings, 11 strikeouts. Here's the first pitch to Dumas, and she pours in a fastball for a strike, 0-1. Alex Starraco is just not messing around in the circle right now, wasting no time getting back in there. 0-1 the count to Dumas. Starraco twirls the softball in her right hand, looks on, into the windup. Here comes the 0-1. That is at the knees, strike 2, and Michigan's 1 out away. Starraco looking to retire the side, all on strikeouts. 1 strike away. Michigan up 6-1 in the top of the 7th. Alex Starraco looking for the complete game. Michigan looking for the win. Here comes the 0-2. She struck her out and the ball game is over. Fanned at the high fastball. Alex Starraco works wonders. 7 innings, 12 strikeouts, a complete game. Michigan rides its bats. Strong performances from Burkhardt, Carson, and Livingston, and the Wolverines win 6-1. It's a 2-game winning streak for Michigan.
Michigan led this one from the beginning, scoring 2 in the first inning and never really looking back. Michigan State cut that deficit to 1 in the second, but then Michigan just never looked back, scoring 4 unanswered to win this one 6-1, and it was really never in doubt. As Starraco, the ace, did her thing, and Michigan touched up Miller, Michigan State's ace. And this game, the first leg of a 1-1 series against Michigan State, the second leg being next month, or later this month, I should say, at Michigan State, April 19th. So the next game for Michigan is on Friday against Penn State in Ann Arbor.
7 innings of 1-run ball for Starraco, 3 RBIs for Livingston, 2 for Bump, and Carson with the other. Michigan takes this one 6-1. They send Michigan State home unhappy to East Lansing. 2 straight wins now for the Wolverines. They'll be back Friday here at Alumni Field against Penn State, and so will we. Zach and I will be on the call for that one. That's going to do it, though, for tonight's broadcast of Michigan softball on WCBN Sports. For Zach Corsun, I'm Jared Greenspan. Thanks, as always, for listening, and we'll sign off like we always do. Good night, and go blue.